Hi everyone, welcome to Simple Concepts. I'm your educator Niyati Paul. Guys, in this video we'll be discussing about agriculture regarding the second green revolution and the government schemes and missions. So before we actually start up with the lecture, let me tell you all हम कौन कौन से टॉपिक्स इस पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल में, इस पर्टिकुलर डिस्कशन में हम डिस्कस करेंगे, और वो होंगे रिगार्डिंग ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग इन इंडिया, मिशन फॉर इंटीग्रेटेड डेवलपमेंट इन हॉर्टिकल्चर दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज MIDH. देन विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट नेशनल हॉर्टिकल्चर मिशन, नेशनल बाम्बू मिशन, राष्ट्रीय कृषि विकास योजना, और इसके तहत हम नेशनल मिशन फॉर सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर भी डिस्कस करेंगे. विल ऑल्सो फोकस ब्रीफली अपॉन नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी मिशन, integrated pest management, technology mission on cotton, initiatives in budgets which are taken for for this particular entire agriculture thing. So we will be discussing all these things in detail. So before we actually begin with the lecture, let me tell you all, आपको अगर आपका UPSC CSE का 2021 का अगर सिलेक्शन इंश्योर करना है, देन यू हैव द गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर योर, गिवन दैट अभी 4 महीने बाकी है आपके प्रीलिम्स के लिए, राइट? सो देर आर 3 कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव बैचेस विच आर देयर ऑन अनअकैडमी प्लस, विच इज़ फॉर कंप्लीट प्रिपरेशन, विच अलाउज यू टू गेट कंप्लीट प्रिपरेशन. एंड अगर आप हमारा ये वाला कोड यूज़ करते हैं SIMPLEYT, देन स्ट्रेट अवे आपको यहाँ पे 10% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा. ऑल्सो गाइज, अनअकैडमी ने अपने जो सब्सक्रिप्शन रेट्स है वो बहुत लो कर दिए हैं. दिस इज येट अनदर अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर यू. सो फॉर 24 months you just have to pay 2,667 per month. And guys, given that the prelims is 4 months away from now, the Unacademy has brought to you all the UPSC Championship, wherein there are all India free mock tests that are there for UPSC CSE Prelims 2020. अगर आप अभी के अभी एनरोल करते हो, then it is for the free of cost, और आपको गाइडेंस जो है वो इन सारे लोगों से मिलेगा, जैसे कि राकेश वर्मा सर, मृणाल पटेल सर एंड आतिश माथुर सर. ऑल्सो गाइज, जो भी यहाँ पे हम टॉपिक्स डिस्कस करते हैं सिलेबस से रिलेटेड, अगर आपको उनके नोट्स चाहिए हो इन द PDF फॉर्मेट, देन यू कैन जॉइन आवर टेलीग्राम ग्रुप. द लिंक ऑफ द ग्रुप इज गिवन इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन बिलो. Also guys, if in any case if you are unable to find our group, then just go to your telegram account. वहाँ पे जाके अगर आप UPSC सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट्स UPSC के नाम से अगर आप सर्च करते हो, then you will be getting our group. So do join into our group. वहाँ पे हम बहुत सारे क्विजेस भी डिस्कस करते हैं, and not just with respect to this topics, मतलब बस इन्हीं के PDF आपको नहीं मिलेंगे, बट बाकी जो सारे नोट्स हैं अवेलेबल, जो हम सारे एडमिन्स के पास जो नोट्स अवेलेबल हैं, we will make sure कि आपको क्वालिटी नोट्स मिले वहाँ पे. So having said that, let's start with our today's class. So guys, as we all know, the current state of agriculture in India is the result of green revolution, which is in place since since late 1960s, which was heavily backed by the government. It has delivered India food security and sufficiency, which was critical at that time. This progress in security had its own cost in terms of environment and economic viability. Now, green revolution rampantly used fertilizers and other chemicals, which made food and water toxic at some extent. It supported indiscriminate use of water, as rice was the main target of the revolution. India's 80% of fresh water is consumed by agriculture, more particularly by the rice farming. तो मतलब एज वी ऑल नो दैट शुरू में जब सून आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस, जब इंडिया के पास फूड स्कैरसिटी होने लगी सारे इंडियंस के पास, हमारे गवर्नमेंट को ये नहीं पता चल रहा था कि किस प्रकार से इस सारे इशू को डील किया जाए. तब व्हाट हैपेंड इन 1960s, मतलब मोस्ट ऑफ द पैसा जो था वो फूड इंपोर्ट करने में ही जाता था, बिकॉज आप जानते हो कि बहुत बड़े बड़े फेमिन्स आए इंडिया में ड्यूरिंग द ब्रिटिश राज, एंड इंडियंस वर नॉट नोइंग, मतलब इतना पहले तो इंडिया की इकोनॉमी इतनी ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग थी बिफोर द ब्रिटिशर्स, एज वी ऑल नो दैट कि इंडिया को सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था भारत को. So those were the all things which had happened, and soon after the British rule, when they had looted the entire wealth from India, इंडियंस की कंडीशंस ऐसी हुई थी कि खाने के लिए भी उनके लिए पॉसिबल, मतलब फूड भी उनके लिए इतना वो हुआ था, मतलब डिफ़िकल्ट हुआ था 2 वक्त की रोटी लेने के लिए. सो एट दिस टाइम व्हाट गवर्नमेंट डिड वाज, उन्होंने मोस्ट ऑफ द उनका पैसा जो था वो फूड इंपोर्ट करने में लगा दिया. बट दिस वाज नॉट पॉसिबल इन द लॉन्ग रन. सो दिस वाज द राइट टाइम व्हेन इंडियाज गवर्नमेंट जो थी, उन्होंने सेकेंड मतलब ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन के तरफ उन्होंने फोकस किया. What exactly they did was they invested most of the government's money in agriculture. उन्होंने directly एग्रीकल्चर में जितना ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट हो सके उतना किया, बिकॉज गिवन दैट इंडिया वॉज प्रो एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट कंट्री थी इस वजह से, और मेन जो इंडियंस का जो सोर्स ऑफ इनकम था वो था फ्रॉम एग्रीकल्चर. सो इन ऑर्डर टू अचीव ऑल दीज टारगेट्स, बिकॉज गिवन दैट जो जितना भी लैंड कल्टिवेटिंग एरिया था या फिर जितना भी एग्रीकल्चर से इन आउटपुट आता था उतना ज़्यादा पॉपुलेशन उतना ही ज़्यादा तेज़ी से बढ़ रहा था. सो इट वॉज गेटिंग डिफ़िकल्ट फॉर द गवर्नमेंट टू गेट इन टू ऑल दिस, ये बैलेंस करने के लिए कि पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से जो फूड स्कैरसिटी है उसको बैलेंस करना बहुत ज़्यादा डिफ़िकल्ट हो रहा था फॉर द गवर्नमेंट. So at this point in the late 1960s, what government did was they invested more in agriculture fertilizers, या फिर उन्होंने chemicals के ऊपर या फिर ऐसे food crops जो कि मतलब थोड़े में से बहुत ज़्यादा आउटपुट देते हैं, इन सारी चीज़ों पे गवर्नमेंट ने फोकस किया. सो मतलब ऑल इन ऑल ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इंडिया में लाया गया था. बट इसके साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा थे. कौन कौन से थे कि मोस्ट ऑफ द वाटर, क्योंकि इंडिया में राइस बहुत ज़्यादा कल्टिवेट होता था, सो 80% ऑफ द फ्रेश वाटर जो था इंडिया में वो कंज्यूम होता था एग्रीकल्चर में, यानी कि राइस प्रोडक्शन में वो कंज्यूम होता था. ऑल्सो द टॉक्सिसिटी ऑफ द केमिकल्स दोज वर यूज्ड वर गेटिंग इंक्रीज डे बाय डे. सो ऑल इन ऑल जिस प्रकार से, मतलब कहने का सारांश यही था कि जिस प्रकार से फूड स्कैरसिटी जैसे जैसे कम होती जा रही थी वैसे वैसे एनवायरनमेंट को ये सारी चीज़ें अफेक्ट होती जा रही थी. एंड दिस वाज गेटिंग वेरी फास्ट पेस, बहुत ज़्यादा फास्ट पेस में ये सब कुछ होता चला गया. सो फर्दर इन पास्ट GR कॉन्स्टेंटली इंक्रीज यील्ड्स पर हेक्टर्स ऑफ वेरियस फूड क्रॉप्स. Originally, yield per hectare for rice was nearly 1 ton and now it stands over 3 tons. In case of wheat, it's around 2.4 tons. This increase was incremental over all these years as more and more cultivated area kept coming under irrigation, high yield varieties and fertilizers. But in recent past, these measures are showing all fatigue and yield growths are flattening up. We have seen in our previous videos that increasing cost of fertilizers are pushing agro cost upwards and turning food unaffordable for the masses. Also due to the indiscriminate use of fertilizers, nutrients in soil are depleting rapidly. So जैसे कि हमने हमारे previous videos में डिस्कस किया था, so यहाँ पे अब एग्रीकल्चर में बहुत ज़्यादा इन्वेस्ट होने लगा इन रिसेंट ईयर्स, और इस तरह से इन्वेस्ट होने लगा कि जो जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड जो क्रॉप्स थे उनके ऊपर इन्वेस्ट होने लगा. ऑल्सो ये चीज़ हुई कि फर्टिलाइजर्स पे भी उतना ही खर्चा बढ़ता गया. बट एट द सेम टाइम जैसे जैसे फर्टिलाइजर्स पे खर्चा बढ़ता गया उसी प्रकार से जो फूड का जो मतलब प्राइस था वो भी इंक्रीज होता गया, मेकिंग इट डिफ़िकल्ट फॉर द कॉमन मासेस टू अफोर्ड दिस फूड. सो जो मेन इंटेंशन था गवर्नमेंट का कि जो मासेस को फूड अवेलेबल किया जाए वो कहीं ना कहीं घटता चला जा रहा था. So in short, it is being realized that original means adopted by the Green Revolution are to same extent exhausted. As yields on Indian lands are still far below the world average, our policymakers will have to look somewhere else to bring it as per the world average. The current state of agriculture is not sustainable at all. So consequently, new agriculture policy of India aims at sustainable agriculture, which is popularly called as Second Green Revolution or Evergreen Revolution. Now, almost every current policy can be covered under the category of Second Green Revolution because it aims at information technology revolution, biotechnology revolution, R&D and targeting specific crops, etc. So information technology will create awareness in farmers, introduce them with more efficient technologies and enable them to choose among different alternatives. It is in fact a support service like customer care whose information deficit on part of the farmer that will be addressed. So biotechnology revolution aims at improving genetic traits of crops. So they do this by making them drought, pest, weed and climate resistance. तो ये सारे टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट हमारी कंट्री में भी हो रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि सेकेंड ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में या फिर ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में जस्ट बर्बादी चाहिए, ऐसी भी नहीं है बातें. बट विद द हेल्प ऑफ साइंस, दैट इज बायोटेक्नोलॉजिकल रेवोल्यूशन विच एम्ड एट इम्प्रूविंग जेनेटिक ट्रेट्स ऑफ द क्रॉप बाय मेकिंग देम ड्रॉट, पेस्ट, वीड, देन क्लाइमेट रेजिस्टेंट एक्सेट्रा. ये सारी चीज़ों को रेजिस्टेंट किए जाने वाले, मतलब इन सारी चीज़ों में ख़राब ना होने वाले क्रॉप्स के ऊपर ज़्यादा रिसर्च करवाया गया. सो दिस इज़ टू बी डन बाय जेनेटिकली इंजीनियर्ड क्रॉप by continuously improving them. However, the use of genetically engineered crops and its benefits are controversial, and this issue was covered in we will be covering this issue in our later videos. So another aspect of biotech revolution is the use of biopesticide and biofertilizers. So this is actually a part of bigger strategy targeted towards the organic farming. Now let us look into the organic farming in India. So organic farming system in India is not new and is being followed from ancient time. It is a method of farming which is primarily aimed at cultivating the land and raising crops in such a way as to keep the soil alive and in good health by use of organic waste, that is crop, animal and farm waste, also the aquatic waste, and other biological materials along with beneficial microbes, biofertilizers to release nutrients of crops for increased sustainable production in an eco-friendly, pollution-free environment. यानी कि ऐसी चीज़ें यूज़ करें जो कि एनवायरमेंटल फ्रेंडली भी हो एंड एट द सेम टाइम उनका यील्ड भी इंक्रीज हो. तो ये सारी चीज़ों पे फोकस कराते हुए ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग इन इंडिया को बहुत ज़्यादा तवज्जो मिला था या फिर मिल रहा है. So to promote organic farming, a central scheme named National Project of Organic Farming is in place, and apart from general things like creating awareness, promoting organic fertilizers, training, capacity building, etc., this scheme provides financial assistance through capital investment subsidy scheme. So this is for agro-based compost production units, biofertilizers or biopesticide production units, development and implementation of quality control regime, human resources development, etc. So it is worth mentioning over here that northeastern India has the highest potential for organic farming. It has distinct agroclimatic zone also, and its soil is immensely rich in organic matter. Further, it was aloof of any green revolution, and consequently farmers there is still use of traditional methods. All this is obviously is perfect opportunity for promoting organic farming rigorously in the northeast. There is a horticulture mission for northeast and Himalayan states, under which financial assistance is provided for adopting organic farming and setting up a vermin compost unit. So we have to note that the scheme is also available in other Himalayan states as well. Also, there is a Indo-Israel Agricultural Corporation Action Plan in which Israel shares its expertise mainly in organic farming and related technologies with India. This cooperation includes structured interaction between governments, experts, and most important farmers. So this comprises of bilateral sharing of knowledge and technologies, established of center and excellence or in various agricultural sector across the entire state of India. So they also do exchange visits of experts and farmers and postdoctoral scholarship for Indian agricultural researchers in Israel. Now 2 centers of excellence have already been made fully operational, one for vegetable in Garaunda, that is Karnal, and other for fruits in Magiana, that is in Sirsa in Haryana, while work is in progress to establish 3 such centers in Maharashtra, a citrus center at Nagpur and a pomegranate center in Rahuri and Kaisar mango center in Aurangabad. Now let us look into the Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, that is MIDH. So guys, basically this Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, that is MIDH, it is centrally sponsored scheme for the holistic growth of the horticulture sector, covering fruits, vegetables, roots and tuber crops, mushrooms, spices, flowers, aromatic plants, coconut, cashew, coca and bamboo. So scheme took off in 2014, while Government of India contributes 85% of the total outlay for developmental programs in all the states except the state in the northeast and Himalayas. So 15% of the share is contributed by the state governments in case of northeastern states and Himalayan states, and Government of India contribution is 100%. So National Horticulture and Bamboo Mission are integrated under this mission. These both come under the National Horticulture Board. Now speaking about the National Horticulture Mission, this is a centrally sponsored scheme again which is in place since 2005-2006, and the objective of this scheme is to provide holistic growth of horticulture sector in India and to enhance the horticulture production. So all the states and union territories are covered under the mission except the 8 northeastern states including Sikkim and the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, which are covered under previously mentioned separate mission. The assistance from Government of India will be 85% with 15% by the state government. All the crops except coconut and medicinal plants are covered under this NHM scheme. Now speaking about National Bamboo Mission, so mission envisages promoting holistic growth of bamboo sector by adopting area-based regionally differentiated strategy and to increase the area under bamboo cultivation and marketing. Steps have been taken to increase availability of quality planting material by supporting setting up of new nurseries and strengthening of existing ones. It addresses forward integration by taking steps towards marketing of bamboo productions, particularly of handicraft items. Here also biggest potential lies in the northeastern India. Now speaking about Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, which was introduced in 2007, so as a new additional central assistance scheme to incentivize states to draw up plans for their agricultural sector more comprehensively, taking agroclimatic conditions or natural resources issues and technology into account, and integrating livestock, poultry and fisheries more fully. This involves new schemes for additional central assistance for the state plans administered by the Union Ministry of Agriculture over and above its existing centrally sponsored scheme to supplement the state specific strategies, including special schemes for beneficiaries of land reforms. There are a number of sub schemes under RKVY. Some of them are bringing green revolution to eastern India, which specifically targets improvement in rice productivity in the 7 eastern states vis-a-vis Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Assam, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and eastern Uttar Pradesh, as original green revolution brought a little impact over here. It includes some components of green revolutions such as irrigation and also focuses on water harvesting or conservation, etc. Speaking about the National Saffron Mission, Kashmir's Valley Kareva soils are perfect for the growth of saffron, which is considered as one of the most expensive cash crop. However, area under saffron cultivation and yield per hectare are on constant decline. So to arrest this decline, National Saffron Mission was initiated in 2010. The objective, as in the other mission of the Saffron National Mission, is to improve the overall production of saffron, enhancing quality of saffron, enhancement of research and extension capability, and develop appropriate system for organized marketing for the growers. So speaking about national Nutri cereals, So to promote production of millets vis-a-vis the jowar, bajra, ragi, etc. through better technologies and creating awareness about their health benefits. These crops are more nutrition and protein rich than rice and wheat, but they are less remunerative to farmers. ये सारे क्रॉप्स जब फार्मर्स उगाते हैं उनको उतना ज़्यादा इन रिटर्न उनके पास नहीं आते रिटर्न्स. बट व्हेन इट कंपेयर्स टू अदर क्रॉप्स लाइक दैट ऑफ राइस या फिर आप कंसिडर कर सकते हो वीट, ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं वो फार्मर्स को ज़्यादा रिटर्न्स देती हैं एज कम्पेयर टू द मिलेट्स विज़ द ज्वार, बाजरा, रागी एक्सेट्रा. So speaking about accelerated fodder development program, so the targets fodder development through technologies. It is quite important for animal rearing sector as it is getting short of fodder. Speaking about the promotion, also the promotion of oil palm etc. So national mission for protein supplements to promote animal based protein production through livestock development, dairy farming, piggery, goat rearing etc. Speaking about rain-fed area developed program, so improving the quality of life of small and marginal farmers in rain-fed areas is one of the mission of the government. So crop diversification in original green revolution states is also important, as states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, these are involved in intensive farming of rice and wheat, which is causing depletion of soil nutrients. So to stop this, it is very important to diversify the cultivation towards horticulture, which is precisely aimed by all these particular schemes. So guys, let us now understand the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So it is one of the 8 missions under the National Action Plan of Climate Change and seeks to address issues regarding sustainable agriculture in the context of risk associated with climate change by devising appropriate adoption and mitigation strategies for ensuring food security, equitable access to food resources, enhancing livelihood opportunities and contributing to economic stability at the national level. It seeks to transform Indian agriculture into climate resilient production system in the domain of crops and animal husbandry. These interventions would be embedded in research and development activities, absorbed of improved technology and the best practices creation of physical and financial infrastructure and institutional framework, facilitating access to information and promoting capacity building. Speaking about promotion of dry land agriculture, it would receive prime importance by a way of developing suitable drought and pest resistant crop varieties. The mission would expand its coverage to rain-fed areas for integrating farming system with management of livestock and fisheries so that agriculture production continues to grow in sustainable manner. Under integrated farming system, agriculture, horticulture or animal husbandry is integrated, develop a system which derives synergies from each other. An example of poultry waste can be fed to fishes and hence having saving the cost, and can also be used as an effective manner for horticulture. Let us now know about the National Food Security Mission. So the Food Security Mission was launched in 2007, which comprised of rice, wheat and pulses to increase the production of rice by 10 million tons, wheat by 8 million tons and pulses by say 2 million tons by the end of 11th plan. Targets were also duly achieved. So the mission is continued during the 12th 5-year plan, and new targets of additional production of food grains of 25 million tons of food grains comprising of 10 million tons rice, 8 million tons of wheat and 4 million tons of pulses and 3 million tons of coarse cereals by the end of 12th 5-year plan. Mission also aims at improving soil fertility and improving employment opportunities. So the mission during the 12th 5-year plan has had 5 components. First one was NFSM, that is rice, then NFSM wheat, then NFSM pulses, So the mission is further supplemented by Accelerated Pulses Production Program or A3P, and India's biggest producer of pulses at 25% of world's production and still has to import the pulses. This is mainly because of the low yields. So A3P aims at integrated nutrition management and plant protection to enhance the yields and productivity. Also the NFSM coarse cereals and NFSM commercial crops. So guys, that's all for this particular class. अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आए then do hit the like button. वहाँ पे सब्सक्राइब बटन होगा, उसको भी प्रेस कीजिएगा if you are new on this platform. वहाँ पे नोटिफिकेशन बेल आएगा, उसको भी प्रेस कीजिए so that you can get notified every time we put any video on our channel. गाइज इस इशू के जो रिमेनिंग टॉपिक्स हैं इससे हम पार्ट 2 में कवर करेंगे. सो डू वॉच द पार्ट 2 ऑफ दिस वीडियो एज वेल. टिल देन गाइज स्टे ट्यून एंड खुद का ख्याल रखिएगा. ऑल्सो ensure your selection in the UPSC CAC 2021 by taking the Unacademy Plus subscription. Thanks a lot for watching.